Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed at 1,000 subscribers. I'll be posting a special video. Keys hit the hallway tile. A hush follows, too neat. A woman's laugh leaks from upstairs, light uninvited. My breath goes thin. Something in me chooses fight over sleep. I'm Mara, 34. My hand finds the banister and holds. I take the first step, slow and deliberate. My pulse drums loud. The second laugh tells me I'm already late. He appears at the landing, bare feet, careful eyes. Lower your voice. His palm lifts like a stop sign. I don't move. The house feels borrowed. I'll speak how I need. My voice stays even. He watches the bedroom door, not me. Who's here? His jaw tightens and the air hardens. A friend, he shifts, blocking the hall. She missed the last train. My gaze flicks to the guest room door. Open that then. The stair light hums between us like a dare. He exhales a practiced calm. She's scared to be alone. I almost laugh, but it comes out flat. She's not alone, she's here. He winces at the word here like it costs him. A phone vibrates upstairs, short, guilty buzz. I step right. He mirrors me. I step left. He mirrors again. My hand lifts and he flinches, though I only point at our room. Move, my voice cracks once, then steadies. 10 seconds. I start counting out loud. He tries a smile that belongs to meetings. I reach 3 and he moves. The door opens a finger's width, a whisper. The hinge protests with a small groan. I don't look inside yet. I watch his face instead. He rubs his temple like I am the problem. Don't make a scene, my laugh lands sharp. The scene is already here. Behind him, a shadow shifts fast, then still. He grabs a glass from the hall shelf. Water sloshes near the rim. He passes it through the crack. A soft thanks answers him. My skin crawls with clarity. Guest room now. I plant my feet, or I call someone. His shoulders rise, then sink. He hates public messes. I let that sit between us like a countdown. You're overreacting. He tries to sound kind. The word hits me like a door. Then pick a door, I answer. My hand lifts toward the guest room again, steady as a lever. He starts to speak, then stops. His eyes do inventory, stares me. Door. I don't fill the silence. I want his next move without excuses. He reaches for the handle and doesn't turn it. The crack widens. I meet a pair of eyes, alert, measuring. She holds the glass with both hands. No apology, no shame, only the calm of someone already chosen. I swallow hard. My options line up like cards. Wake the street, call my sister, pack a bag, or force the house to tell the truth. Now I pick truth. Out of that room, my finger points not shaking. You downstairs. The glass clinks against the nightstand. The silence after it feels loaded. He glances back for approval that isn't mine. She murmurs something and he nods, automatic, intimate. The nod is the cut I didn't expect. My stomach drops, then rights itself. When it rises again, there's a decision writing it. I take his phone off the rail, one clean move. He freezes, face down screen, new preview blocked. He reaches, slow and pleading. I step back and pocket it. Guest room or door, my voice is sandpaper now. His mouth opens, then closes. He looks smaller just for a second. I push the bedroom door wider and hold my ground. I'm not leaving her alone. He tries firm. My laugh is short, like a snapped twig. Then you're choosing her. The sentence lands heavy and we both hear its weight. Sirens drift from the street, distant, indifferent. I picture tomorrow's fallout. I picture the mirror I'll face. Neither image scares me more than this hallway. I choose the version where I act. Last time, I point again. Guest room now. The woman sets the glass down, crisp and sure. He studies my face for a crack. He doesn't find one. He steps out finally. The door closes behind him with a soft click. He starts toward the guest room, slow as paperwork. I follow 2 steps behind. The space between us buzzes like a tripwire. At the threshold, he stops. We'll talk in the morning. I shake my head once. We're talking by choices. I twist the guest room knob and hold it open. The hallway air turns tight. He enters without looking at me. I set the phone on the dresser, screen still dark. Sleep here, my voice stays level. We'll handle the rest before breakfast. I turn away, pulse steadying. Behind me, the mattress springs protest. In our room, a floorboard answers. 3 sounds, 1 reality. I close the guest room door and count to 5. On 5, I finally breathe. The house feels different, not broken yet, not safe either. Something is shifting and I know I'll have to meet it head on. The spare room latch clicks behind him. Our bedroom stays shut. I plant my palm on that wood and hold. Inside, she breathes evenly. I need movement or I'll crack. I tap my screen and open the bank feed. A fresh charge blinks from a hotel bar, another from a rideshare. 2 seats build. My throat tightens but the focus sharpens. I type 3 words to my neighbor across the landing. Eat eyes now. Her reply comes fast. Which door? I send our number and add 1 line. Quiet approach. The bedroom opens a hand's width. She peers out, cautious and steady. Water, she whispers. The word needles me. I point to the kitchen and step aside, blocking nothing yet. She pads past with quick steps. Wrist bare, no ring line. She keeps her gaze low. I trail 1 pace behind, not touching. My silence works better than questions. At the sink, she fills a glass and watches the surface. He okay? Her voice barely lifts. He'll manage. I lean on the counter and wait. She swallows and sets it down with care. Where's your train now? I keep it flat. She checks her phone and hides the screen. Gone. She starts toward the hall like this is routine. I match her speed and make her stop. You sleep in there again? I call people. My hand blocks the path. Spare room or couch? She studies my face and nods once. Not fear, calculation, the kind that signals practice. From the spare room, a vibration rattles hard. His device, he must have found it. I step that way, but she moves first, fast, almost protective. I cut left and reach the handle. I open before he can unlock. He sits on the edge, phone bright in his hands. He looks up, startled and uneven. I extend my palm and wait again, no pleading this time. He hands it over like a late assignment. A message stares back, not her name. It's a group chat with a title I do not recognize. The last line reads, "Got her safe and parked, thanks." Who are they? I angle the screen. He drags his fingers through his hair and shrugs. Her friends. He reaches to close it. I tilt away and scroll up until a pinned note appears. Rules, rides at night, check-ins, photos on arrival. My ribs go tight. This isn't random. This is organized. I memorize the initials and press the power button. Evidence can wait. She hovers by the frame, listening. He sees her and softens. The softness spits sparks in my chest. Spare room, I tell her and point without shaking. She hesitates, then goes in. I stay by the door and set the phone on a high shelf. He watches my hands but doesn't move. No calls tonight. My voice lands hard. Morning decides the rest. He nods like he has a say. My neighbor texts again, outside. I step into the entry and crack it open. She searches my face, then past my shoulder. Trouble, I whisper later. She passes me a keychain alarm and closes my fingers around it. Back inside, I clip the alarm to my pocket. Insurance helps me breathe. In the spare room, the mattress complains. In our room, silence loads the air. Choices are arranging themselves like dominoes. I walk to the main door and slide the chain across. Not to trap them, to anchor me. I stand there until my pulse steadies. The screen on his phone glows in the other room like a beacon. He appears behind me with careful steps. Can we talk? I don't turn. At sunrise, he lingers until the pause burns. I'll stay put. He steps back and the floor answers with a soft groan. I lie on the couch and stare at the ceiling. My brain lines up tasks, screenshots, calls, a bag if needed. None of it feels dramatic. It feels like a drill I never wanted to learn. Sleep comes in clipped bursts. I wake to the buzz of another alert. The number matches the hotel night. My finger hovers over call. I stop. I want clean proof when daylight hits. Footsteps approach and pause nearby. Not his weight, hers. I'm leaving early, she whispers toward the dark. No scene. I keep my eyes closed and let the words sit. Early leaves a trace. Water runs, a zipper scratches fabric. The main door opens and closes softly. I count 10 beats and stand. The house exhales. The shape of the fight shifts again. He walks in, hair messy and guarded. She's gone. He scans for my reaction and finds none. Good, I answer. Now your turn. I pick up the phone and unlock it with his code. I open photos. Screenshots tell stories more honestly than mouths. A picture of them at the same bar as the charge. Another of a station clock well past midnight. No kisses, just proximity that buries vows. I look up and hold his gaze until he looks away. You're about to choose with action. My voice stays level. No speeches. He swallows and nods once as if the floor tilted. Call her and end it, I add, on speaker. He hesitates a breath too long, then he dials and places the phone on the table. It rings, and each tone tightens the knot. She answers with a careful hello. He clears his throat and starts a script I've never heard. I listen for truth and hear practice. I raise my hand and he stops. Say it plain, I instruct, no cushion. He tries again, shorter, cleaner. The silence after lands heavy. Then the line clicks off without goodbye. He stares at the screen like it betrayed him. I know this isn't over. It rarely ends on the first call. I pocket the device and set terms in my head, not threats, boundaries that can hold weight. I will speak them at break. Asked and not bend. The way he blinks tells me he senses that shift. I push a plate toward him and slide my phone beside it. Unlock your cloud. My tone keeps him in his chair. He hesitates, then enters the code. I steady my breath and prepare to lose more ground. His gallery blooms with timed screenshots, rideshare receipts, calendar blocks, a pinned folder named Late Logistics. My chest goes quiet. Systems mean habit, and habit means I've been blind. A new message lands while I scroll. Unknown number, 3 words. She got home. I tilt the screen so the light hits his face. His fork stops midair like it weighs something. Reply now, I say, on speaker. He taps the call icon and sets it down. It rings twice. She answers with wind in the background. Are you safe? He glances at me and waits for permission that isn't coming. Tell her we're done, I press. Clear language. He does it in 5 clipped lines. The pause after drags, then she breathes once and the call ends. He stares at the table like it gave him bad news. I open his email and search the loyalty inbox. Two confirmations pop up, one with his nickname attached. The dates match my bank alerts. My throat tightens, but the work continues. I flag them for later, then close the app. He reaches for coffee and misses the handle. No work today, I say. We handle this. He nods like this is a meeting. My hands shake once, then settle on the chair back. I will not deal with this in drafts. I text my neighbor, standby. Her bubble appears, then stops. She knows I'm testing boundaries now. She sends one word, with you. I tuck the phone away and square my shoulders. He tries a softer tone. We can fix this. I hold up three fingers. Transparency, no outside nights, block her everywhere. He watches my fingers like they're switches. Break one, we split, I add. His jaw tightens, then he starts deleting threads. I watch his thumbs and catch a hesitation over her initials. He deletes anyway. Block two, I remind him. He blocks and the contact turns into a number. A notification pops from a different app. Encrypted icon. His eyes flicker fast, guilty. I tap it before he can move. A private channel opens with a title that hides the truth in plain sight. My stomach drops, then locks. The chat shows three names I don't know. Last night's check-ins. A selfie of his jacket thrown over a chair. No faces. Time stamps match the bar window. This circle knows the routine better than I do. Leave that group, I say. He swallows hard, then taps leave. The banner confirms it. My pulse steadies a notch. He folds his hands like I'm a judge. I'm not a judge, I'm a ledger. My phone buzzes. New mail from customer care. We noticed unusual activity on your account. I hit call and verify the bars and rides. The agent asks if I recognize a companion code. I do not. I freeze at the phrase companion code. I cover the mic and look at him. Tell me what a companion code is. He rubs his face and buys seconds. Perks, he mutters. Shared benefits. It's a tiny confession wearing a bland word. I tell the agent to lock the code. The lock lands and I breathe again. He watches me cancel something that fed his double life. His eyes flash with anger, then go flat. I note the shift. Anger means loss is real. I step into the hall and dial the unknown number. It goes to voicemail and a clean voice invites a message. I keep it short. Do not contact this phone again. I hang up and place the device between us like a line drawn with a blade. He rises, restless. Fresh start. I shake my head. Consequence first, then start. He paces once and stops at the counter. He looks like someone choosing between damage and delay. I wait him out. I'll call work, he says. Take the day. He makes the call with his back to me. The polite tone galls me. He hangs up and faces the battlefield he created. His shoulders slump, then hold. I open the calendar on my phone and set a time block labeled check proof. Noon, he watches the label populate and flinches. This isn't punishment, I say. This is structure. He nods and sits again, smaller but present. Phone on the table for the day, I add. He slides it over without a word. I take a breath that feels earned. He meets my eyes and doesn't look away. Good, looking away built this. A text lands from a new contact. Her, the preview shows 5 words. He told me you knew. I do not open it. Not yet. I let it sit there like a lit match. He sees the name and his lips part. Do not answer, I say. He nods once. The match keeps burning on the lock screen. I feel the heat from 3 feet away. I make space for it. Some fires need oxygen to prove they're real. I stand and fetch a small lockbox from the hall closet. Not for theatrics, for follow-through. I drop his phone inside and snap it shut. The sound lands like a gavel in a cheap courtroom. He exhales and studies the box. For how long? I check the clock. Until noon, my voice stays steady. Then we decide. You earn it back. He swallows, then nods, then stares at his hands. Silence sits with us, heavy but useful. My mind sketches the next steps, screenshots to my drive, appointment with a counselor, a backup plan if he backslides by nightfall. The list keeps me upright. He clears his throat. What do you need from me right now? I answer without pause. A message to your family that you're home and working on your marriage. He blinks, surprised by the specific ask. He opens his laptop and types. I stand behind him and watch the cursor move. The note is short, measured, sober. He stops and waits for approval. I nod once. He sends it and closes the lid with care. The number on my lock screen still glows. I open it finally. One line, he's not honest with you. A second follows, check his backup account. My jaw tightens and my fingers fly across settings. Two-factor requests cascade. I point at his face for authentication. He complies, tense and sweating. The backup mailbox opens with a tidy grid of receipts, flights, meals, a single digital bouquet. The pattern is undeniable. He leans back like the chair betrayed him. I do not soften. I forward the proof to my secure folder and log out. The room feels smaller now, or maybe I feel larger. Last chance, I say. You will end all channels. You will ask for individual counseling. You will send her a final line that leaves no door ajar. He nods, then falters on the last point. I wait. He types the last line anyway. The message goes out, delivered, no reply. The lockbox sits between us like a silent witness. Noon ticks closer. I can already feel the next turn coming. Something always answers when you change the rules. The buzzer rattles the hall like a dare. I open to a man with a camera up. "You scared her last night." He raises his chin. My grip tightens on the frame as he starts filming. I lift my own phone and hit record. "Who are you?" He steps closer and smirks. "We keep each other safe." The phrase lands like a pre-planned slogan and I feel the setup. Footsteps behind me, he hovers, wary and pale. The man's gaze slides past me and hardens. "Admit it or we go to his company." He taps the screen like a trigger and waits for fear. "Email it," I answer, "with names." I spell out my address and add 2 words, "legal review." He blinks at the confidence, then reaches into his pocket and offers a card. I take the card and end my recording. My neighbor's door cracks open across the landing. She lifts an eyebrow and holds up her phone, backup ready. The man notices and finally retreats down the stairs. I shut the door and face the mess. "Is she tied to your work?" His head bows like the word hurts. "Project vendor." My spine goes rigid as the conflict shifts from private to professional. I pull up the ethics hotline on speaker. "Report a boundary violation," I state. He grips the counter with shaking hands. The intake rep asks for roles and dates. I list only what I can prove and save the case number. A dull tapping buzzes from his wrist. I point at the watch. He hesitates, then slides it off. A new invite glows on the tiny screen. "Wellness check at noon." Sender masked behind a bland alias. I accept and reply with one line: "Do not contact this household again." The response arrives as a photo of a bruised arm. My stomach lurches, then steadies. I dial emergency services and request a welfare check at the address on file. The dispatcher asks relation and reason. "Anonymous concern," I answer. I give the building and unit number from last night's receipts. I hang up and meet his eyes. He looks rattled, maybe scared, maybe angry. "Noon," I say, "we had a plan." He nods and stares at the metal case on the table. "I want it back." I shake my head once. "Earn it." He doesn't argue, which worries me more than noise. I slide a single page across the surface. Clear points, daily transparency, solo therapy, zero unsanctioned contact. He reads twice and signs without bargaining. A shred of respect returns, thin but present. My phone dings with an alert from our clinic portal. Primary emergency contact changed. My breath stops for a beat. The new name is hers. The date shows last week. The room shrinks to a pinpoint. "You gave her that slot," I say. He rubs his eyes and nods once. "No excuse." I open the portal and change it back. I also add a note for staff: "Verify identity for all edits." A call hits my line from a block number. I let it ring until voicemail grabs it. The transcript populates. "Stop punishing him." The voice is cool and collected. She thinks she owns the tempo. I forward the voicemail to the case file and to my drive. He watches like I'm dismantling a tent he loved. "You can still choose us," I add, "but it costs truth." He swallows and stands very still. The intercom buzzes again, longer this time. I glance at my neighbor's peephole across the way. Her thumb goes up then sideways. Not the man, not a courier. Unknown risk, and my pulse ticks faster. I press the LK button once. "Who is it?" A woman answers with steadiness I recognize. "I'm downstairs." She pauses and adds the kicker: "He promised me today." I feel the floor tilt and hold anyway. I breathe slow and hit record on my line. "Wait there," I say. "I'm calling security." He grips the edge of the table until his knuckles blanch. The air hums with a choice I can't postpone. I dial the building desk and report an unwanted visitor. "Do not let her upstairs," I state. They confirm and dispatch a guard. I hang up and look at him. He opens his mouth, then shuts it. The elevator dings faintly through the walls. I pace to bleed off the surge. My neighbor texts one sentence. She's arguing with the guard. I answer with 2 words: "Keep filming." The next minutes will define the rest. A short knock lands like a challenge. She found another way in or someone buzzed her. I plant myself at the door and breathe once more. This time I choose confrontation over delay because delay already wrecked us. I flip the latch and pull the door wide. She stands there with a toad on her shoulder and steady eyes. "He told me to come," she says. I angle my body into the gap and hold the threshold like a line. "He's here," I answer. "You're not." My neighbor's camera catches the exchange from the landing. The elevator door glows behind her like a timer. She glances past my shoulder and tries a small, polite smile. He appears at my back and reaches for her hand. I step between them and feel his breath on my neck. "Not inside," I say. He drops his arm and swallows hard, busted by the simplest rule. She exhales and lifts a folded document. "This is a workplace agreement," she begins. I raise my phone and start recording. "You can read it on the stairs," I tell her. The hallway goes quiet in a focused way. She unfolds the page and aims her voice at my lens. "He is my safety contact," she states. The words are clean and practiced. I point to the guard at the corner and nod once for him to listen. He shifts behind me. "I never meant this," he mutters. My jaw clenches and releases. "Intention isn't structure," I reply. The guard moves closer and the air tightens like rope. She looks from him to me, measuring lanes. He promised we talk here, she says. I slide the door until only a slice remains. He broke promises here, I answer. The guard clears his throat like a gavel. Lobby, I offer, 10 minutes, witness present. She hesitates, then nods with clipped certainty. I turn and face him until he understands that I mean together, not alone. He gives one short nod that strips him of excuses. We walk to the elevator with the guard trailing. My neighbor keeps filming at a distance. In the descent, nobody speaks. I stare at the floor numbers and count down my patience. We sit on a bench by the front desk. I keep my shoulders square to both of them. Start with logistics, I say, no romance. She leans forward and places the agreement on the wood. Her hands are steady and capable. Your husband listed me as emergency outreach for travel, she says. The desk attendant glances up and then away. He also made me escalation when he's off grid. I feel my spine turn to iron. Remove those links today, I tell him. He nods like he's signing a delivery slip. Now your part, I add to her. What are you expecting from this marriage? She blinks once, surprised by the target. I expect him to keep me safe, she answers. I tilt my head and let the word hang. From what? She doesn't flinch. From being alone with bad men, she says. My stomach flips, then steadies on the edge. I check the time and keep the train moving. Safety and affairs are not synonyms, I say. You can build one without the other. She studies me like I just moved a piece she didn't see before. He rubs his wrists and stares at the floor. I panicked, he whispers. I hold my hand up and stop him. No fog, I say. I need actions. He takes out his device with slow care and opens the travel portal. We watch him remove her name from every contact field. He deletes 3 auto texts that ping her whenever he lands. He pauses over a feature labeled Trusted Companion and then kills it. I record every tap without comment. She sits back and crosses her arms. You cannot control his settings forever, she says. I nod. Correct, I answer, but I control mine. I slide the signed boundary sheet across for her to see. She skims it and lifts one eyebrow. This reads like oversight, she says. It reads like survival, I counter. Her jaw flexes just once, then smooths. She didn't plan for me to refuse the role of villain. The guard steps closer and clears his throat again. Keep it civil, he warns. I nod and lean forward. You're getting one question, I tell her. Use it well. She takes a breath and chooses quickly. Do you actually want him, she asks. The bluntness hits like a slap and wakes my focus. I want the truth, I answer. If he fails that, I want distance. Her eyes flick to him. Then return to mine. He finally looks up and meets our stare. I am ending this, he says. I watch his shoulders lower like surrender. Not by words, I say, by calls. I slide the device closer and set it to speaker. He dials the vendor's supervisor and requests removal from her files. He adds a conflict note that will block shared travel. He asks for a formal separation on projects involving her. The supervisor confirms slowly, aware of the stakes. He hangs up and looks at my face for direction. Next, I say, send her one final line. He opens the thread and types 2 sentences without adjectives. He ends with do not contact me. He hits send and stares at delivered. A new number flashes almost instantly. I read the preview and feel my pulse kick, restraining order if harassment continues. My neighbor's camera catches the timestamp. I forward the message to the case file and to the building desk. She stands and gathers her tote with quick, clipped motions. I'll protect myself, she says. I nod once. So will I. The guard escorts her to the exit. She does not look back, which tells me she thinks this is a game of persistence. We ride up in silence that hums like machinery. At the door, I hold out my hand. He passes the phone without resistance. I drop it back into the box and turn the key. The click lands like a checkpoint. Therapist link is in your email, I say. You schedule or we separate. He nods and heads to the table, but I shake my head. Now, I clarify. He flinches and then opens his laptop. He books 2 individual sessions for the week and forwards the confirmations. He asks for a reference for a group for boundary work. He flags his evenings as unavailable on the team calendar. He looks up like a student waiting for a grade. A voicemail pops in on the landline and fills the room with an even tone. This is security, the voice reports. Your visitor has left the property. I release a breath that feels earned. He grips the chair like it might float away. Food, I say, then planning. He nods and moves toward the kitchen, and I stop him with a raised palm. No service gestures, I add. Sit and listen. He sits like a man learning new muscles. I pull out a notebook and write 3 headings: access, money, messaging. He watches the point of the pen drag across the page. We reset all passwords after lunch, I say. Dual control for anything linked to travel. He opens his wallet and places 2 cards on the table. Cut them, he offers. I slide them back. We proceed clean, I say. We cancel through the provider, not with scissors. He nods and folds his hands tight. My neighbor texts an update. Video uploaded to the building logs. I thank her and add a heart I do not feel. She replies with one line, keep recording everything. I type already on it and lock the screen. He clears his throat and finally risks a direct look. I want to tell my parents, he says, all of it. I study him for a beat and then nod. We call together, I answer, no spin. We dial and stand side by side like coworkers delivering bad metrics. He outlines the breach in the plan. I add specifics on the safeguards and the case number. The silence that comes back is cold but focused. When the call ends, he rests his forehead on his hands. I let the beat stretch and then speak. You chose her needs over ours, I say. You will spend months choosing us to break even. He doesn't argue, which tells me he believes me. The landline rings again, clinic desk this time. We received your note, the nurse says. Verified identity flags are active. I thank her and hang up. He rebounds the words in his head and looks a little stunned by how thorough I've been. The buzzer rattles again and I stiffen. The guard's voice comes through the intercom. Courier for you, he announces. Paperwork. I allow the delivery and sign for a thick envelope addressed to both of us. Inside sits a printed statement with her signature and a timestamp. She documents last night in dry, careful sentences. She claims he was supportive and that I was aggressive. She copies legal counsel for her firm. She wants the narrative before we tell ours. I scan and flag each line that bends reality. He watches me annotate and shakes his head. I did this, he mutters. I slide the papers into a folder and place it in the cabinet. We answer in full later, I say. Right now we hold ground. He stands and paces once, then stops at the window. I hate who I was, he says. I don't reward it. Be someone else, I answer. Start with the next hour. He turns, chastened but upright. I check the clock and unlock the box. Phone for 15 minutes, I say. You contact your manager and log the ethics case number. He nods and gets to work with brisk, efficient taps that would have impressed me yesterday. While he types, my device buzzes with a new mail from an address I do not know. The subject line reads proof. I open it and find a voice memo of his voice inviting her up. After midnight, no hesitation, no confusion, just a door code and a time. I press play and watch him hear himself. His shoulders cave, then square. I save the file to the drive and tag it with today's date. This is why I'm here, I say, not to punish, to remember. He looks at the counter like it might answer for him. What now, he asks. You tell me. I set the timer for the remaining minutes and wait. He stares at the screen and then starts writing an email to himself with a subject line I did not prompt. Personal contract. He lists 5 commitments in plain language: transparency, monogamy, therapy, shared calendars, immediate disclosure of any breach. He sends it to me and to his counselor appointment as per work. It is small but solid. His 15 minutes end and the device goes back in the box. I lock it and place the key on my wrist. He watches the motion with exhausted focus. The room holds a new balance, fragile but real. The intercom buzzes again and my pulse jumps. The guard's voice is quick. She's in the parking lot with 2 men, he reports. They're filming. I look at my neighbor's window across the courtyard and see her thumb rise with a new angle. I choose not to go down. Stay inside, I tell him. He nods and steps away from the blinds. I call the non-emergency line and request a patrol pass. I log the incident with the case. I feel the boundary in my bones now. My sister pings with a short question, safe. I reply yes and add a photo of the signed plan with the time. She responds with one word, proud. I swallow the burn behind my eyes and focus on the next move. I place the notebook between us and draw one last box. Contingency. If he breaks this again, I leave that day. I say it out loud so the words exist in the room. He nods and does not ask for a third chance. The parking lot quiets. The guard texts all clear with a thumbs up. I breathe out and feel the fatigue settle like weights. He notices and reaches for a blanket out of habit. I lift a palm and stop him. Rest later, I say. Final step now. He tilts his head unsure. You call her one last time with me listening, I say. You tell her that any further contact becomes legal. He looks scared but not of me. He nods and dials. She answers on the second ring with a bright hello. He delivers the line in one breath without apology. She laughs softly and starts to negotiate. I cut in with a single sentence delivered like a stamp. This number is recorded. The line clicks dead. He stares at the screen and waits for a return call that doesn't come. I open the case file and add one more entry with the time. He watches me build a wall from facts and finally seems grateful for it. I stand and stretch my back. The day is only half done. The hard work will be long, but the house feels different now. Not fixed, not broken either, held by a choice that finally points in one direction. And I know the next test is already on its way. The landline blares with a single tone. I lift it and hear corporate security. He contacted a vendor after your report. My grip tightens. Which vendor? The answer is her. A new infraction lands hard. I mute the receiver and face him. You reached out. He stares at the floor and nods once. To warn her, he whispers. The rulebook we wrote turns to ash. My contingency wakes up. I unmute and confirm his identity. The officer lists times and logs. I ask for the transcript in a formal letter. The call ends with a promise of suspension. He hears every word and starts to fold. Bag, I say, you leave today. He opens his mouth and nothing comes. I hold up the signed boundaries and tap the final line, breaks equal exit. He drops his gaze and finally understands the math. He takes one step toward the bedroom. I block the hall and point left. Spare room only, I add. Old room is closed. He pivots, chastened and quiet. The silence between us goes steel. My neighbor pings me. Men just left the parking lot. She adds a clip of plates and faces. I store it with the case file and breathe. Outside pressure is real, but it isn't steering me now. He returns with a small duffel and a blank stare. Can we talk first? I shake my head. We already did. I walk to the desk and dial a moving service. Earliest slot, 2 hours. That decides the tempo. He rubs his wrists and lingers near the door. I panicked, he offers. I lift my palm and cut him off. You prioritized her fallout over my safety. The words land and stay. He has no counter left. I text the building desk and request a pass for movers. The guard confirms and logs his upcoming exit. My neighbor sends a thumbs up I didn't ask for. I feel held by a small, tough net. An email arrives from legal. They attached her statement and a demand for silence. I forward it to the ethics case and CC his manager. I add one sober line. Retaliation will be documented. It reads colder than I feel. He watches me type and then reaches for the box key. I catch his wrist. You forfeited D. Evis access, I say. He pulls back as if burned. The truth is simpler than hurt. Trust is a currency he spent. The buzzer jolts again. Movers at the curb. I open and show them the path. Only his things, I say. They nod and wait for instructions. He hovers behind them like a ghost at his own wake. I escort him to the spare room and point to the closet. Choose fast, I tell him. He sifts with jerky hands and fills 2 suitcases. He pauses once over a framed photo. I do not nod. He puts it down. The men haul the bags down the hall. I follow and sign the clipboard with a steady hand. He trails with slow steps and a pinched mouth. The elevator opens like a deadline. He stops at the threshold and turns. Please. I hold his eyes and answer with the only gift left. If you want to rebuild, do it alone first. He swallows and steps inside. The doors close with a precise bite. I lock the door and lean on the wood for one slow breath. My body shakes once, then steadies. The quiet feels risky at first, then the quiet feels earned. The landline rings again, HR this time. We placed him on leave, the woman says. He will have no contact with the vendor. I thank her and request written confirmation. Paper is a backbone when people wobble. I open my email and draft a short notice to family. We separated today, I write. We are safe and supported. I attach nothing. I add no drama. The send key makes a clean sound. A text pops from an unknown number with a threat wrapped as advocacy. If you smear her, we will smear you. I reply with 2 lines. All communications are archived. Further contact becomes legal. The typing bubble appears then vanishes. My sister calls and I answer on the second ring. Do you need me there? I look at the closed door in the neat hallway. Yes, I say, bring calm. She laughs once and says she's already in the car. I move through the rooms and pull anything with his login. Tablets, wearables, the Link speaker on the shelf. I sign them out and reset, not to punish, to stop the echo of him in my house. A soft knock interrupts the tally. The guard stands with a clipboard and a small envelope. For you, he says, from corporate. I open it and find the suspension paper with a case ID. I file it with the rest and feel my spine lengthen. The apartment smells like cardboard and sweat. I crack a window and stand in the draft. I count 10. The air thins the panic. My hands stop shaking. My thoughts line up like tiles. The intercom buzzes with a visitor request. He wants to come back up for one item. I press the talk button and keep my voice firm. List it, I say. He names a passport. I tell him to wait at the desk and send the guard instead. I find the passport in the spare room drawer. I flip it open and check the dates. Current, I place it in a plain envelope and seal it. The guard carries it away while I watch from the peephole. My phone lights with a blocked caller. I let it roll to voicemail and read the transcript. It's her. He belongs with me, she claims. You're in the way. I forward the message to the case file and delete it from my inbox. The movers return for a final signature. Anything else? One asks. I look around at the cleared space and shake my head. That's all, I answer. He nods and leaves me in a house that finally mirrors the day. My sister arrives with 2 coffees and a stare that says later we scream. We sit at the table and share a quiet minute. She squeezes my forearm once. The squeeze says I'm not carrying this alone. We open my list and plan the next 5 days. Bank locks, counseling intake, a meeting with a lawyer for a protective order if the filming escalates. None of this feels theatrical, all of it feels like breath. I check the landline for new messages and find one from his father. We're ashamed, he says. We're here for you. I expect anger. I get a bridge. It surprises me and softens a knot I didn't know existed. My sister heads to the door and pauses. Do you want me to stay? I weigh the quiet against my pulse. Yes, I say, on the couch. She nods and texts her boss with a simple line, family emergency. Evening lands like a curtain drop. The phone stays quiet, no knocks. My body finally remembers hunger. We order simple food and eat in near silence. Chewing feels like work and I keep doing it. The landline pierces the calm once more. The nurse confirms the identity flags held. No edits made, she says. I thank her and log the time. My systems keep me from falling through the floor. A soft chime from my inbox brings a new email with a subject that stops me, notice of device attempt. He tried to access the shared drive from a different network. I forward the alert to HR and to the ethics case. I add one sentence, boundary breach attempted. My sister raises an eyebrow. I show her the screen. He can't help himself yet, she says. I nod and let the truth settle without flinching. Change without distance is fantasy, distance is now. The peephole D. Arkins and clears, no knock, just a shadow loitering. I message the guard and he answers with a quick reply. Camera caught a figure near your door, he dispatches a sweep. I hold my breath and keep the chain tight. The guard reports back 5 minutes later. All clear, shadow gone, I release air I didn't know I was holding. My sister pulls a blanket over her knees and watches me like a sentry. I sit at the table and open a blank document. Title at the top, exit plan. I list the next 30 days in blunt phrases, therapy schedule, lawyer meeting, spare key audit, support roster. A stubborn calm spreads through my chest. A final text arrives from an unregistered app. He found a way around the block for one last try. I'm outside, the message reads. I need 5 minutes. I stare at the words until my phone dims. I call the guard and request assistance to the curb. I follow with a message to him that fits inside a single breath. Leave or I call the police. The typing bubble appears then disappears. I look through the peephole and see nothing. The guard knocks and confirms the sidewalk is empty. He adds that the cameras caught him pacing earlier than leaving fast. I nod and lock the deadbolt. The metal feels sure under my palm. My sister pats the couch and tells me to rest. I sit beside her and let my bones drop. You did the hard part, she says. I shake my head and correct her gently. I did the first part, I answer. The hard part is staying done. We dim the overhead and let the apartment settle. The quiet now is honest. No secret messages, no shuffling feet, just the hum of a space that belongs to me. I carry the ring from the cabinet to the front door. I slip it into a small dish with the spare fob. I stare at the circle and feel nothing, not rage, not grief, just a clean edge. My phone lights one more time with a message from HR. He turned in his badge and surrendered company equipment. He asked for my contact to apologize. They did not provide it. The decision makes sense. I close my eyes and see the hallway from last night. I hear the laugh that cracked my life open. I feel the exact second I change direction. I do not wish for a different scene. My sister turns on a quiet show and leans into the cushions. I brush my teeth and splash water on my face. I return to the couch and tuck my feet under me. The smallest rituals anchor the biggest choices. The clock edges toward midnight. No more buzzers, no more threats. I text my neighbor one line, thank you for filming. She replies with a sleepy heart and 2 words, proud of you. I slide the phone under a pillow and lie back. My body trembles once then stops. I listen for the next crisis and hear nothing. The nothing is loud and kind. Before sleep takes me, I open my notes and add one last entry. Tomorrow I change the locks. The sentence sits there like a lighthouse, steady, bright, waiting for dawn to prove I meant it.